Mulan was a 1998 American animated movie that was based on a Chinese legend called Fah Mulan. It was produced by the Walt Disney Studios and was dubbed in both the Chinese and English language. Today, I want us to focus on all the characters who featured in the film, from the soldiers to all the animals and ancestors who rolled in the film, then look at the English dub voice actors who took part in voicing all the said characters, some who are still alive and others who are no longer here with us in 2025. The main character was a girl called Fah Mulan. She was the daughter of a war veteran who brought her up with good morals and discipline. She was fairly loved in her community due to her good nature, and her family was also respected by others because of her father's service in the military. She lived just like any other woman in the society, but her destiny came when her injured father was called back into battle to defend China from a dangerous threat. She took his military clothes and sword and went to represent her father and family in the war. Mulan was the 8th Disney princess and the only one not to be of royal lineage either by birth or marriage. She was voiced by the beautiful Ming-Na Wen, who is an American actress and model. She played the role of Melinda May in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. from 2013 to 2020, and now has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. She was also honored as a Disney legend in 2019, and is also now blessed with 2 kids. Mushu was a small Chinese dragon who appointed himself as the guardian of Mulan during the battle. A long time ago, he was the spiritual guide of Mulan's family, but he was demoted to look after the deceased and Mulan's ancestors. He was later brought back after Mulan joined the army, and he was tasked by the ancestors to look after her and protect her. He was very overconfident and impulsive, and he depended on others to think clearly and get himself out of trouble. Mushu was a mythical creature with special abilities like immortality. He can understand other animals, and could also breathe small amounts of harmless fireballs through his mouth. This guy was voiced by Eddie Murphy, who is an American actor and undoubtedly one of the funniest comedians of our time. Some of his greatest works include Coming to America of 1988, Dr. Dolittle of 1997, and also Daddy Daycare of 2003. He now has 10 children in his name, and I forgot to mention that he is also an R&B and pop singer. Li Shang was the general of the army that Mulan joined, and was the son of the Grand General called Li. He was a highly capable leader with a strong dedication to his cause, and he was a man who was very wise in terms of battle plans and tactics. He was also a powerful and a no-nonsense leader who had the weight of China's safety within his hands, and this made him train the new recruits with high-intensity workouts all day, every day. Since Mulan dressed and behaved like a man, no one ever suspected her gender, and Li Shang did not go easy on her during the workouts. Mulan was also attracted to him, and the two actually got married at the end of the franchise. He was voiced by Bradley Darrell Wong, who is an American actor. If you watched the Gotham series, he played the role of Hugo Strange in the show. There was a ragtag trio of soldiers who were enlisted in the Chinese army during the war. They included Yao, Ling, and Qianpo. Yao was the shortest of the trio who wore a red uniform and was recognized with his black eye and a mustache. He had a hot temper most of the time, but was also a very sweet and loyal guy when not in his moods. He was a natural-born leader who took care of his boys during the war, and he was very strong for someone his size. Ling, on the other hand, was usually seen in a yellow uniform, and he appeared to be the clown of the group with his funny jokes and sarcastic remarks. He was also the most cowardly member who was the most accident-prone compared to the others. And the third member was Qianpo, who was the largest in both height and weight. He was the most gentle member who had more emotions than the rest, and he loved eating food, especially meat like beef, pork, and chicken. He wore a blue uniform and was much flexible than he appeared. Yao was voiced by Harvey Fierstein, who is an American actor and screenwriter. He has been active on screen since 1981, and he has made other appearances in movies such as Mrs. Doubtfire and Independence Day. Ling was voiced by Matthew Wilder, an American musician and songwriter who was actually the one that wrote the songs for this movie. And apart from singing, he also plays keyboard and guitar as his main instruments. And Qianpo was voiced by Jerry Tonda, who is an American actor and voice actor that mostly features on Disney Studios. The Fah family ancestors were deceased members of the Fah family, and most of them were not named in the film. Their leader was the first ancestor who was the founder of the Fah family. He was the wisest and the most powerful of the rest, and he appeared to have some mystical powers, as was seen when he awoke Mushu from his slumber. His spirit resided in the Fah family temple, and his grave was often visited by the living members of the family for good fortune. Another ancestor was Fah Deng, who was the only ancestor that was named in the film. He was seen losing his head and using it while holding it on his hands. And another ancestor worth mentioning was the second ancestor, who was a neurotic spirit that loved to constantly calculate potential losses for the family on his abacus. There were other ancestors like a farmer and his wife, a female ancestor, and others who settled in the background. The first ancestor was voiced by George Takei. He is an American actor and author that is best known for playing the role of Hiraka Sulu in the Star Trek franchise. Fah Deng was voiced by Patrick Pinney, who is an American actor, and the speaking voice of Painty, the pirate from the opening theme of SpongeBob SquarePants since it aired. And the second ancestor was voiced by Corey Burton, who is the current voice of Captain Hook, Ludwig von Drake, and the Mad Hatter in Disney Studios. Shifu was the emperor of China's council. He was proud of his rank, and he never forgot to remind others that he was top-notch. He was stationed at the palace of the imperial city and was tasked with upholding China's laws and values. He always believed that women were inferior to men, and that was among the reasons why women did not participate in the battle. He did not respect anyone but the emperor, and his sassy and egotistical nature made him a very disliked person in his community. His voice was from James Hong, who is a retired American actor and producer. After serving in the military from 1952 to 1953, he started his acting and filming career in 1954. The main antagonist was a man called Shan Yu. He was the ruthless leader of the Han army who were responsible for causing havoc across China. He wanted to take over the country and overthrow the emperor, and that was why every man was tasked in joining the army and defeating this tyrant. He was merciless even to defenseless individuals, and we saw how he took out entire villages and soldiers that defied him. He was also supremely confident in both his army's strength and superiority, and he sometimes allowed his enemies to have an advantage in order for him to defeat them anyway as proof of his might. That's how ruthless he was. This guy was voiced by the late Miguel Ferrer, who was an American actor. He was the original Bob Morton in RoboCop of 1987 and the voice of Terrakudo on Jackie Chan Adventures of 2000. He passed away on January 19, 2017 at the age of 61 years from throat cancer. There was a matchmaker who was responsible for arranging marriages and evaluating potential brides and grooms. She was an icon in the community and was known to have a short temper to women who did not have proper ladylike manners. She was also seen to be very impatient in understanding Mulan's personality, and she behaved in a very strict and harsh way in all of her appearances in the film. Miriam Margolyes was the one who voiced her. She is a British-Australian actress who has been known as Professor Sprout in the Harry Potter film series from 2001 to 2011. Cri-Kee was a cricket that first belonged to Mulan's grandma, but later followed Mulan to war. He was so eager to please others with his good deeds, and he also acted as Mushu's sidekick in the journey. Even with his small size, he was kind of braver than Mushu, and he did what he could to help Mulan in battle. Khan, on the other hand, was Mulan's steed and a good friend to both Mushu and Cri-Kee. He did not have the ability to speak like Mushu, but he could understand and respond with his actions and expressions. He had human-level intelligence as he was able to imitate how humans walk and behave, and was also a good tactician in the battle. The sounds these two animals made were produced by Frank Welker, who is a legendary voice actor since the 80s. General Li was the father of Li Shang and the general of China's imperial army. He was the one who came up with the plans and tactics for the army during the march to war, and he was also the one who advised the emperor to attack the Hun clan before they got the chance to attack first. And even with his high-ranking position, he was known to be a very calm and humble person and a friend to all. Voiced by James Shigeta, who was an American actor and singer. He passed away on July 28, 2014 at the old age of 85 years.